Hi everyone, welcome to another installation of Stephen Follows Instructions. Today I'll be installing NextCloud Hub with OnlyOffice on Ubuntu. I'm going to be putting it into a cloud environment and specifically this one, hetzner.docs. Now I've set up a little bit already. I've created the cloud environment, so let's see if I can't find it. Okay, so checking that I am not a robot. Okay, so I'm gonna have to log in. Oops, I hate doing that. And I'm one of those, when I make a mistake on my password, I start over. There we go. Let's autofill that and we'll log in. All right. So I have one project default. I have one environment, which I've called test, although it seems to have this name now. That's interesting. So anyhow, there it is. I attached a volume to it. So it's a fairly straightforward process setting this up with Hetzner. I liked it quite a bit. Okay, the limited support is tomorrow. Okay, so I won't worry about that at this point in time. So as you can see, I've spent already almost €1 on this. At the rate of €7 per month. I don't know. I might have to boost the configuration in order to support NextCloud, but we'll see. Right now, that seems good enough for me. I have backups enabled, etc. So, yeah, I have my environment. So, and to get into my environment, now, one of the things that confused me right off the bat was SSH into my environment. I did set up a key, but that didn't work. So now I'm just using a password to get into my SSH. So not great, but it'll have to do. Okay, so this is my, and it's in Falkenstein in Germany. Because the project I'm working on is a European project and everything needs to be in Europe, so no problem. Okay, so servers. Okay. Console, there it is. So this is my console. And I can also log into it using Windows PowerShell. Which, let me see if I can't do that as well. Windows PowerShell, where are you? There it is. Okay. So, oops. Just trying to copy this. There we go. So to log in using Windows PowerShell, where did it go? Where did it go? Here we go. Don't know why Windows PowerShell is in dark mode these days, but okay. So SSH root at, and the URL, and now the password. And that should get me in. Oh, for goodness sakes. pretty sure I changed the password to that. This is so annoying. What else could it be? So, yeah, right off the bat, let's see. I'm going to go off screen here, but I don't think. Oops. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm copying the password that came in via email. No, that doesn't work either. I had a horrible time with this. I remember the first time. Let's wipe this out. Yeah. Power off. So, and I'm going to wipe out that information as well in my email. Delete. Okay, just waiting for it to stop so I can delete it. Delete. Not yet. Selected. Oh, because there's still a volume attached. Okay. Okay, so detach volume. This is stuff I learned the other day. So this is why we do this live, because I thought about just simply recording this. But then if I recorded this, I'd be so tempted to take this whole first effort and just cut it out of the video. Because, you know, it's just starting with something that simply doesn't work. Okay, delete. Delete name of the resource. Okay. Ubuntu 4GB FSN 1-1 delete. All right, so it's gone. All right, let's start over. Okay, add a server. I'm going to put it in Falkenstein again. Ubuntu. Dave Lane's instructions for Ubuntu 18. This is Ubuntu 22. Hopefully that's not a big issue. So we're just going to go with the defaults on the CPUs and etc. Networking, we'll go with the defaults, SSH keys. See, I made an SSH key and then I was never able to figure out how to access it. So, maybe I can look that up. So I'm just going to search for that. Add SSH. Okay, on your local machine, execute the command. All right, so I'm actually going to execute this command off screen just in case. cannot find path. Yeah. Because I'm using Windows. So where would it be if you're using a Windows machine? I have no idea, and it doesn't tell me. See, that's the problem with so much of this documentation, right? Oh yeah, sure, that works great if you're doing all of this from a Linux machine. But what if you're not? See? Yeah. Never mind. Just too complex. Just don't want to mess around with that. So let's go back. So forget it. No SSH key. Yeah, I know you recommend using an SSH key. Tell me how, and I'll use it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Volumes. We'll add the volume. Now, I've seen cases where the Hetzner firewall really messes stuff up. I'll just use the firewall on the Ubuntu server that I'm creating. I'll set that up myself. And I'm not going to mess around with the Hetzner one. Backups. Sure, whatever. Volumes are not included in backups. I don't care. I don't know what placement groups is. Labels I don't care about. Cloud config. Right now I don't think I need that. Name. Let's call it NextCloud. Just for ease. Create and buy now. $8.96 a month. In euros. Right, so Canadian dollars about $15 a month. Maybe not even that. Alrighty, so just waiting for it. So what's important here is, oh, creating has failed. Why? Oh, that's kind of weird. I have never had that happen to me. Maybe they need me to give them money. Your account is too new to request a limit increase. Oh, well, yeah, okay, that's... Huh. I'm not asking for a limit increase. I don't want that. Yeah. So I do, pretty sure, yeah. So they'll be able to charge me when they feel like charging me, so that's not the problem. Go back. Let's try Nuremberg. Maybe Falkenstein is just not working today. No SSH key. Let's add the volume. Oh, it's bound to a different location. Maybe it did work, but no, it couldn't have. Just checking my email to see if anything came in. Nope, nothing. Well, this is pretty weird. Alright, let's go to the volume and unbind the volume to whatever it thinks it was bound to. Choose the server. Okay. Attach volume. Okay. Unattached. Okay. Oh, this is messed up. Let's delete the volume. All right. So I don't have a volume yet. I don't have a server yet. Now we're starting really from scratch. Add server. Nuremberg. Networking. No SSH key because I haven't a clue how that works. Volume. Let's create a volume. Okay. This one's in Nuremberg. Never mind the firewalls, backups, placements. So, okay, and we're going to call it NextCloud. We'll just call it Next, just in case that was the problem last time. All right, let's create. There we go. Different IP from last time. Alright, so the server has been created. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy this IP and I'm going to go into my zone editor on Reclaim, which is where I keep my stuff. I've been using a new domain that I created called tech.downs.ca for all of this stuff. So now my domain, the IP has changed. So I'm going to change that. Here's the new IP. Save the record and similarly. Ooh, oh, okay. It logged me out because this has just been sitting here for a while. Oh, for goodness sakes. Now what? Okay. Jeez. All right. Website. Reclaim. cPanel. Downs.ca. All right. Zone editor. And this is part of the reason why I'm not wanting to use Reclaim on this, because they're using the, on this side, cPanel, and on the other side, the Reclaim Cloud, they're using Virtuoso. Virtuoso has a whole bunch of its own overhead stuff that I've learned interferes with a lot of cloud setups. So All right, so let's go in here. We'll manage. And here we are back where we were. So edit. Notice I haven't even gotten to Dave Lane's instructions yet. All right. So there's this. So what I'm doing here is I'm defining both the domain and then the mail for the domain. Now I'm not going to start by doing the mail, but I've spent quite a bit of time doing background reading on how to set up the mail server for this as well, so that it'll work. Because NextCloud needs to be able to send email, and I'm not sure that it'll work if I just send it using my Gmail account. So I think I need to set up a mail server. So I'm setting up the addresses for the mail server so that they're available when I need them. So, and this I did following some other instructions, both from Dave Lane and also from the mail server site itself. So basically setting up mail.tech.downst.ca and then auto discover and auto config, and then finally setting the MX or mail record to point to mail.tech.downst.ca. Hopefully that's the right setup, but we'll see. All right, so this basically then is the stuff for our NextCloud account. All right, let's go back to Hetzner now. Here's our server. Now I'm going to open up my email. I did get my next. Okay, so first things first. Okay, so let's try to SSH into the server, and we'll just try to go straight in from here. So SSH root at, and now our new IP. Okay. Yes. Oops. Okay. And now the password. Now it sent me a password by email. I'm copying that password, and I should be able to just paste it in. Control V, enter. Okay, great. That actually worked. Okay. And now I have to change my password. So current password, Control V, enter. New password. Ah, for God's sakes. Why? Why? Because it doesn't like it when I paste passwords in. Oops. Let's try that again. Password. Current password. Nope. I have to type it in. So freaking annoying. Alright, let's type it in. Hopefully it's still the right password. All right, I typed it correctly. All right, So I've created the new password. Hopefully that'll stick. All right, roulette next. All right, so I'm in. We can make this big enough so that we can see it. So good video. I can now start finally following instructions. So let's go to Dave Lane's page. Where is it? No, that's the rejected. Here we go. All right. Okay, reasons. Okay. I need a Linux virtual machine running the current Ubuntu version with an external IP address and a user with sudo privileges. Got that. Your domain name in the NextCloud for the NextCloud instance pointing to the IP address. Got that. Credentials for an email address capable of sending from a remote server, usually termed authenticating SMT email account. All right, so in theory I have that. Okay, secure access with SSH. We recommend setting up key-based authentication. How to configure. Okay, well, we'll come back to that maybe one day. Oh, that's DigitalOcean anyway, so this is going to help us at all with Hetzner. Right? Secure access. Okay, firewall with UFW. Okay. There are always exploits. Use a firewall, UFW. Make sure you have exceptions. Alright, so let's set up the firewall stuff. Allow in on Docker 0. Okay. So let's do that. Rules updated. Okay, it's fine. And okay, and basically now we're allowing anything from the local server to access it. So the server can access itself, which is important because we'll have containers, right, trying to access the server. All right. Now, we'll need an editor, so sudo. Now, he uses Vim. I haven't a clue how to use Vim. I use Nano, so that's what we're going to do. So, we'll paste that in, and then we'll change Vim to Nano. Alright, Nano does appear to work. That's nice. Doesn't always. Copy the line. Default forward policy equals drop. Tweak it. Oh, okay. This is. Okay. Not the best instructions in the world, Dave. Okay, so we're in. Copy the line. Default forward policy equals drop. Tweak it to look like this, which is a vague reference. I assume you mean by this, but I don't know. But let's assume that that's what you mean. And then we'll comment out the original that we copied. So let's go find that. There it is. Default out. Oh, wait. Default forward policy. So that's what we're looking for. Okay. Let's make this a bit bigger. Here we go. Default forward policy. So equals drop. So we'll comment that out. Default forward policy equals accept. Let's make sure that that's what it's supposed to say. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Anything else? And then we'll also have to edit, I guess it's a different file. Okay, so he didn't say save this file or anything like that, but let's save the file and exit. So how do I do that? Control X. Save modified buffer. Yes. All right. Now, uncomment. Okay, so now we're going to edit this. Systemcontrol.conf. Okay, so let's do that. And again, we'll substitute that with nano. All right. And we'll uncomment this to allow this host to route packets between interfaces. So again, allowing it to send messages to itself. Okay, so net IPv4, IP forward equals 1, forwarding. Okay, let's see if we can find that. Okay. Right, it's something that's been commented and I need to oh, it's right there. Okay, forward. All right. Control X, save, write the file. Great. And finally restart the network stack and UFW on your server. So let's see if that works. Networking restart. Failed to restart networking service unit. Networking service not found. Great. Okay. Okay, so let's just search for that. Accept all cookies. Things have changed over time, depending on your installation. And most likely in your case it's restart network manager. So let's just check. So we'll look for the services. Network d-dispatcher.service. Network d.service. Yeah, so it looks like it's probably changed from networking to network D. So let's try that. Nope. system D hyphen network D service. System D hyphen network D. Okay, that seems to have worked. Let's just try this as well in any case, because who knows, but I'll bet you this fails. Yep. So in my case, it's probably, see, I don't know this for sure, but probably system D hyphen network D is the thing I need to restart. So let's just add a note. Just going to create a note, and I'll send this to Dave Lane so that he can update. So where's my, just looking for note tab, there it is. File new. Okay, so let's come back here. Oops. Where are his instructions? Here we go. Okay. Failed. Used. System D hyphen network D restart, and I'll put in the URL of the Stack Overflow where I found this information. Oh, it's, oh yeah, Stack Exchange. Okay, well that's different. All right, moving on. And in sudo service UFW restart, that's the firewall that we're restarting. And that worked fine. Okay. All right. Next. Installing the Nginx web server. Ooh. Now, there's a new version of Nginx. I think it's called Nginx Reverse Proxy or something like that. That gives you a nice interface on port 81. But let's not experiment just now. We'll just install it in the default way. All right, so there it is. Unable to locate package Nginx full. Oops. Let's update apt-get. All right. It seems to have updated. Now let's try. Yeah, that did the trick. Continue, yes. All right, so did he advise? I don't believe he did advise, so. So So I'll just add this to the list of things. All right. See how nice I am doing this for him? All right. And it's because the instructions are 3 years late, or 3 years late, 3 years old, and things change. Okay, how are we doing here? Okay. All right, Nginx seems to have been, no services need to be restarted, no containers need to be restarted, no user sessions using outdated binaries. Perfect. All right, now next. We need to allow it to run through the firewall. So let's do that. Invalid policy. Oh, I must have made a typo. Okay, let's see. We'll go back here. That's why I'm sure he recommends copying instead of typing, but okay, nano. Let's try up, accept. Oh, here we go, here's our problem. There we go. Control X. Yes. Enter. And now let's update the restart the firewall. Okay. And now we'll go back to what we were trying to do. Sudo UFW. Allow Nginx full. And it works. Perfect. Possibly need to restart it again. Let's restart it just in case. Alright. This wasn't in the instructions, but it couldn't really hurt. Make sure your hosting service is not blocking these ports at some outer layer. That's the stuff that happens with Hetzner, right? So, yeah, we need to be careful there. Alright, just if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm applying anti-itch to my arm because I've been going through this horrible, horrible medical condition for the last 6 months, 5 months. And I don't want to get into it, but it's destroying my life. Okay, alrighty. Hopefully that'll help. I have every anti-itch substance known to man. Alright, next. Okay, installing MariaDB. This is kind of interesting because, I'm not actually running these as Docker containers. I'm just installing them straight on the server. Okay, so apt-get install MariaDB server 10 and MariaDB client 10. Those are probably a few years old now. We'll go with it, and if we run into a problem, yeah, we ran into a problem. There's no installation candidate. Okay. 10 is not available, but is referred to by another package. Has been obsoleted, 3 years old. The following packages replace it. Alright, first of all, let's record that it fails. And alright, let's now then go to MariaDB. And find instructions. There's instructions. Installation instructions. So what do we got? It's preview release 11.1. Stable short term 10.10.4. Stable long term 10.11.3. All right. Latest release up here is 11. Oh, that's the alpha. Yeah, right. Don't want to say download, I just want to say install. Install MariaDB. How to install MariaDB on Ubuntu. That's from 2022, so it's relatively recent. We will add the official MariaDB apt repository using the following script. Okay, I like this. Just apt-get install, and we're not going to specify a version. And then maybe it'll install the latest for us. So let's try that. Yeah. And that appears to have worked. Good. All right. And let's validate it. It certainly does seem to have worked. Yep. Okay. MySQL version 15 distribution. Okay, so this is 10.6 as opposed to 10. All right, very good. Let's go back to Dave Lane's stuff. Okay. You need to set a root admin user password. You might want to create a root.my.conf config file containing the following to let you access MariaDB without a password from the command line. You should now be able to type MySQL at the command prompt. All right, let's do that. So, he doesn't tell us how to do that, but we know how to do that, don't we? Yes. So, that's the file. So, we'll come back in here. How do we do that? Sudo nano and root.my.config. Okay. All right, now we'll add the text. All right. And now I'm just going to change the password off screen. All right. Control X, save modified buffer. Yes, yes. Okay. So I've saved the updated password. Okay. Should now be able to type MySQL at the command prompt. Well, let's see. Whoops. MySQL. Ta-da! And it works. Control C. And now we're up. Okay. Tweak the configuration so that it's listening on. Listening on what? Listening on some port. This is kind of an awkward phrasing. Okay, so we know we're editing this file. He really does have trouble when he's telling us how to edit files. His phrasing is pretty awkward. And it's hard, right? It's hard to write instructions. All right, so and again, we're going to nano, not Vim. Because I never did learn Vim. I could probably learn it pretty easily. I imagine it's pretty similar to VI, which I do know. But, okay. Okay. And copy the bind address line and adjust it so it looks like this. Okay. And then right, we want MariaDB to be listening on all interfaces, not just localhost. All right, so basically we're replacing this line with this line. So I'll copy that. Let's come back in here. So let's find the bind address line. It's going to be in here somewhere. There it is. So first I'll put this line in. And then I'll comment the old version out. There we go. And I think that's all I need to do here. And then restart MariaDB. Okay, so Control X, and then yes, save, and now let's restart MariaDB, sudo service MySQL restart. That should work because I did the password thing above. Well, let's see. Yeah. Okay. It should now be listening on port 3306 on all interfaces, i.e. 0000. All right. Now set up the database which will hold NextCloud's data. Very good. So we'll log into the MySQL client on the host. You won't need to enter your username and password, so let's not use the username and password. So MySQL. Boy, that really is helpful, putting that little file in there, isn't it? Yeah. Enter your root password when prompted. Well, I didn't need to. It's also a good idea to gin up a password. I wonder what that means. That's a New Zealandism for your NextCloud database user. I usually use pwgen, password generator. All right. Okay. So, what we're doing now is we're creating the database. So, all of this stuff, this password generator and that, yeah, okay, it's good advice. It's extra to the main thing. And I don't like it when people put stuff that's peripheral to the main task into the main task, right? Because it's just another possible source of error. So, and it's going to be complicated because I'm going to create this password, then I'm going to have to copy it somehow while I'm also copying this. No. So I'm just going to type in a password. Oh, okay. So we have 4 separate commands happening here. I know that because they end with the semicolon. So you got to be careful, right? You can't just cut and paste all of this in at once. We have to do it one at a time. All right. Create NextCloud database NextCloud character set UTF-8 MB4 Unicode. That's very important. So let's put that in because we want to be able to support international characters. Enter. 1 row affected. Perfect. Create user NextCloud at everything identified by password. So that's what I'm going to do. Except I'm going to change the password to something. Okay. See, my nice long password's pretty random too, but it follows an algorithm. Okay. Now I'm going to have to scroll this up. All right. So all I did there is I hit enter a bunch of times to scroll the password up off the screen so that you can't see it. Okay. Grant all on NextCloud to NextCloud. So let's grant all privileges on the database NextCloud to the user NextCloud. All right. and flush privileges. Flushing privileges. Does \Q actually work? Oh, it does. Okay. I usually just type Control Q. But I guess this is a nicer, more elegant way of exiting. All right. Prepare your Docker Compose host. We're making pretty good progress here. We've got an Nginx installed. We've got a MySQL installed and our NextCloud database ready. Okay, so we'll make use of the NextCloud community's stable Docker container, which they keep up to date. Yay! Similarly, the OnlyOffice developers maintain a Docker container as well, and later on we may well add more Docker containers for more things. All right. So the two sets of Docker containers will look like this: a suite of NextCloud containers and the single OnlyOffice container. So the suite of NextCloud containers is going to be the main PHP FPM container, an identical one that'll run the cron tasks, nice, a Redis container for caching, and yes, another Nginx web server container to manage the configuration and the paths. So, yeah, it means that on the hosting server, we only need to run a proxying web server, which is easy. Okay, the way I prefer to implement this set of containers is to use Docker Compose. So first of all, let's install Docker and Docker Compose onto our system. Sudo apt-get install Docker Compose. And of course we want to continue. You can skip those, you know, do you want to continue, yes, no, by putting a -y. But okay, so far so good. Docker Compose, Docker version 20.10 build, nice. Okay, then set up a place for your Docker containers. Replace me with your non-root username on the server. Well, that's something that he hasn't talked about. Okay. Huh. So do I need to create a non-root username on the server? I don't know. He didn't say anything about creating a non-root username. That's why I've been using a root all along. So okay. Let's make a non-root user. And what will we call our non-root user? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. With your non-root username on the server. Let's create a user called NextCloud. I feel dangerous doing this, but non-root user. Login as root. Creating a sudo-enabled user. That couldn't hurt either, right? Okay. Add user username. And then password username. I'll give it a password. Enter the desired password and repeat it. Enter user information. Alright, so we'll just go with add user then. NextCloud. New password. Retype it. Okay, full name. Number, work phone, room number. Yes. All right. So I have a new user. Okay. Wonder how I list users. How do you list users? Cat etc password. Very good. See, MySQL is a user, and there's a few other users as well because these things need to exist. So, okay, good. So I've created a NextCloud user called NextCloud. So I'm not confident in this step, but all right. So now we're going to make some directories. So make dir home data. This is all going to be pretty straightforward. Home data, yeah. Data NextCloud. So basically, we're setting up all of our data directories here. And the reason why we do this is that it'll be a persistent place for all these different Docker containers to store data, so that even if the Docker containers go away or get updated or stopped or whatever, we haven't lost all of our data. It'll be right here in these directories that we're creating. Moving along. I love how we do this. We sort of test a little bit as we go along, but not really a whole lot. There's home Docker, NextCloud. And then finally, this chown me. So we're going to have to edit that. So I call it my user NextCloud. NextCloud. All right. With your non-root username on the server. All right. We're getting there. Okay. First, let's set up NextCloud. So we'll go to the directory. And here's an example of the required docker compose.yml file. Create this via a text editor like Nano. We've already discussed. And we're going to create it in the home Docker NextCloud directory. Okay. So services, volumes. See, these are the volumes that we just created. Links, environment, virtual host, restart unless stopped. Okay, so the ports specified above for Nginx is arbitrary. I just want to make sure I don't conflict with ports being used by other containers on my server. 8082 is a pretty unusual thing to be used. You also need to provide an Nginx config file. So, alright, so let's first and then create this. We can just copy this. It's just plain text. Alright. And we're going to make it into docker compose.yml in the NextCloud directory. So, cd, what was the address of it? Home docker NextCloud and nano sudo nano docker compose .yml. Alright, let's paste that in. Looks good to me. Control X, save. There we go. Let's look. There it is. And there's all the content. All right, so that's good. Okay. You will also need to provide the nginx.conf file referenced in the nginx section of the file. What? Oh, the reference in the nginx section of the compose file. So, yeah, there it is. So, it needs to be in NextCloud nginx. nginx.conf. Okay. So okay, so this is the nginx conf file. What this is basically doing is telling nginx, which is our little web server, how to handle incoming requests, because these incoming requests need to be routed to the different Docker containers, right? So, okay. So we'll copy this. Now, he isn't clear here, but I will be. This file, nginx.conf, needs to go, I believe, in home data, NextCloud, Nginx, Nginx.conf. Alright, so let's go to home data, NextCloud, Nginx. Home data, NextCloud, NextCloud hyphen Nginx. And such file or directory. Okay. CD home data. CD NextCloud. Nginx. Okay, there's nothing in it, but we need to create a directory now. Nginx. Oops. This is owned by root, and I probably want it to be owned as above by NextCloud. Remember, I don't know why he didn't have me make this directory up here. So sudo chown NextCloud. CD. Alright, so sudo nano, this will be now. What's the name of this file? Nginx.conf. Nginx.conf. Paste. Control X, Y, and there we have it. Okay, so I believe that's where it goes. He hasn't said specifically where it goes. And I'm just going to note that. Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. We're getting close to crunch time here. Okay. Configuring Nginx to proxy NextCloud and OnlyOffice. The next step is configuring the local Nginx proxy servers for NextCloud and OnlyOffice using the Nginx instance you installed earlier. That's what responds to the domain name you choose for this service. In our case, the name is whatever. You can have a look at it. We use Let's Encrypt to provide secure hosting. Yay. Here's my Let's Encrypt instructions on setting it up. The key thing to realize is your certificates need to exist for Nginx to restart with the new configuration below. Use the commenting out intervening lines trick mentioned in my instructions to bootstrap the creation of your secure certificates. Okay. So I guess we need to install Let's Encrypt now, right? I mean, he doesn't say let's install Let's Encrypt, but what else could he mean? Okay. Sudo apt-get let's install sudo apt-get install Let's Encrypt. Okay, so let's try that. We're going to go back to cd root again. All right. Sudo apt-get install Let's Encrypt. Yes. Okay. Oh, it has to set up a Python environment, but it did that. Okay, that's fine. We run Nginx on our virtual machines, which makes one or more hosted servers. Okay, here's how the process works. Point your domain to an external IP address. Set up a domain for non-secure hosting via your Nginx. So that might even be working now. I don't know. Let's find out together. So tech. Let's try spelling it correctly. tech.downs.ca. Welcome to Nginx. Beautiful. It does work. Oh, I love that. I love it when things work. All right. Okay, so we have that. Let's come back. Okay. Set up a domain for non-secure hosting. We've got that. The domain's configuration must include a special directory for Let's Encrypt verification content. Okay. Then we request that the cert bot acquire a certificate for the domain. And stuff happens. The certificate is registered. It's sent back. You get an alert. And okay. All right. Okay, so that's what's happening now for the instructions. Okay, so sudo make dir, etc. Nginx includes. All right, we'll do that. No problem. And then sudo nextencrypt.conf. All right. And of course, we're going to use nano again because we prefer proper text editor, not something weird like Vim. All right. Now, this is the rule for legitimate Acme challenge requests. That's the type of challenge that's done for secure sites. Okay. Location dot well known. So whatever, right? So basically it looks for the host like the base directory on the host, and then it looks for a directory called .well known. This indeed is well known, although it's pretty obscure. And this can be any directory, but this name keeps it clear. All right, so let's put this into the includes. So you see what's happening here. Basically, okay, so this is where the challenge goes, and then this hides it for anything other than the SSH challenge. Okay, so we'll put that in. So default type text plain, and then it goes into roots var www let's encrypt. Now this is on the server side. It'll actually show up in the corresponding volume on the web server side. Don't need to worry about that. Okay. Control X. Yes. Alright, so we've saved that file. Okay, now we need to make sure that this directory exists. So let's do that. You only need to do this once per virtual machine. That may come up again later, but so let's do this here. Okay. Okay. So example Nginx domain configuration unencrypted. Okay. Here's an example of a pre-cert Nginx domain configuration for example.org. So server, okay, so these are going to have to go somewhere. Okay. Yeah. So let's copy this. Okay, so my file would be in sites available, etc nginx sites available example.org. All right, so let's poke our heads in there. etc nginx ls sites available. All right, and there's the default site. And this is the one. See, this is the default site configuration. The root, the location. And now a virtual host configuration for example.com. Okay. So where am I supposed to put this? So this is going to go into, is this it's a separate file? Yeah, my file would be sitesavailable/example.org. So in my case, it'll be sitesavailable/tech.downs.ca. So let's do that. All right, so we'll copy this and sudo nano tech.downs.ca. And I'll put this in, and now I need to edit it to change the example to my server name. So I only have one server name. So tech.downs.ca. All right. And then the logs. tech.downs.ca. Access log. And tech.downs.ca error log. All right. This is where we might include the snippet. Includes. Okay, I don't know what that means. I do know it's a place that we haven't created yet. Where did I put let's encrypt.conf before? I don't know. We'll just leave that for now. Proxy pass. This is just an example of a proxy configuration for, say, a Docker-based service exposed on the VM's local port 8081. All right. Okay. All right, so it's there. Okay. See, that's I don't know if that's the local etc. Pretty sure it is. Let's just go there and see what's there. etc nginx includes. That's encrypt.conf. Okay. No problem. All right. Very good. cd etc. Go back to our directory, nginx. And we'll go to sites enabled. There. Jazz is a city in Spain. Okay, so there's the default site enabled, which is a symbolic link back to the sites available. And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to create a link back to my file that I just created. So let's do that. So, and again, we need to change the sites available tech.down.ca. In the Apache files, these were always actually in http.conf, and this kind of spreads them out, and Apache started doing that too. Some ways better, some ways more confusing. Anyhow, tech.downs.ca, sites enabled, created my link. There it is. All right. You can make sure it's enabled. Okay. Test things. All right. Let's test Nginx and see what happens. The configuration file test is successful. Okay. And if not, make it live. Sudo service nginx reload. No problem. Very good. Should now be able to go to HTTP or whatever and hopefully get your proxied application if it's set up, or an Nginx error. Okay. So let's try tech.downs.ca, and we got a bad gateway error. Okay. But that's fine. Okay. I assume that's fine because I was told I was going to get an error. So, okay, let's come back then. Okay. Hopefully get your proxied application if it's set up, which it is not, or an Nginx error. Now it's time to request the certificate. Once certbot is installed and a domain is configured, it's pretty straightforward to get a certificate. On the first invocation of certbot, you might get a colored interface that requests your user details, etc., etc., so that Let's Encrypt can register them for the purpose of future emails. Yes. The email, if it's on the verge of expiring, etc., it's worth being on the list. Yes, it is. So let's request. If it works, it gratifyingly results in a message that starts with congratulations. If it doesn't work, it says, you stupid idiot. All right, so we're only doing the one domain. So let's back this up. tech.downs.ca. All right. So far, so good. Okay. Enter email address. No colors, notice. Steven@downs.ca. That's me. Please read the terms of service. You must agree in order to register with the Acme server. Do you agree? Yes. Already read those. Would you be willing once you're... Of course I would be willing. I'll give you pretty much anything you want. It's successfully received certificate. Certificate is saved. Certificate expires. Da, 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 da. These files will be updated. CertBot has set up a scheduled task to automatically renew this certificate in the background. Yay. If you like CertBot, please consider supporting our work. You know what it didn't do? It didn't say congratulations. Okay. I'll just put a note. All right. Okay. Once you've got your certificate, you can reference it in your configuration. We normally set up a redirect from the unencrypted version of the site to the encrypted. Very good. So okay. Server was an 80. All right, so I guess, and again, it doesn't say so explicitly, but I guess I now replace what I had in my tech.downs.ca site that's enabled with this. So let's do that. Okay, so we'll go back in. Site's enabled. Site's available. Oops. Sudo nano tech. And now I'm just replacing all of this. Oops. Okay. La-dee-da-dee-da. I suppose there was a faster way to do this, but I don't know what it was. This is definitely bootstrapping. You create a temporary configuration for it to work, for Let's Encrypt to work, and you set up Let's Encrypt, and then you do the final configuration. Okay. Server name, still tech.downs.ca. All right. X, just like before. Check.downs.ca, and down here as well. Oops, I misspelled my own name. Wouldn't have mattered, it just would have put it into an oddly named access log file. Tech.downs.ca. Okay. All right. Interesting. He's no longer using example.whatever. He's got chat.oeru. But we're at tech.downs.ca still. So that's the return 302. So what that is it redirects. So any request to HTTP tech.downs is going to go to HTTPS tech.downs. Okay. This is now my 443 SSL. Okay. Here's my logs again. Tech.downs.ca, and once again for the error log. Guess what the name of the site is? Tech.downs.ca. Thing is, once this is done, I'll have all of these, and all I need to do is replace tech.downs.ca with whatever, and I have my configuration. So doing it once is the hard one. Doing it the next time is easier. Okay, server name. Tech.downs.ca. Proxy, read, proxy pass. Okay, so these are just locations. So and what it's trying to do is any request to the base directory, the home directory, is going to be rerouted to the same server, 127.0.0.1, which is this server, 8081. So whatever's serving on 8081, right now nothing, but that's where this request will be passed. So if I didn't have this location here, it would just go to the root directory, which was that little message we saw before. All right, Control X, yes, save. Okay, we're good. Now come back here. You also need to set up the SSL DH param file for this configuration to work. You can do that based on these instructions after installing OpenSSL tools. So what instructions are these? Getting it perfect. SSL Labs score. All right. Let's stay with Dave Lane's stuff. So let's first of all install OpenSSL. So let's go back to CD root. Sudo apt-get install OpenSSL. All right, no problem there. By running this, the system needs to generate sufficient entropy to achieve acceptable randomness. All right, well, I'm going to need to go get a coffee anyways, so I might actually pause the streaming and recording while we do this. So let's do that. So we'll start it up. And you've set up the file. You can enable it. All right, so let's run this. Okay, so this is just going to go on for a while. So I'm going to stop the recording and stop the streaming for a short break, and then I'll pick it up. I'm not sure what YouTube does in that case, but whatever. Maybe I'll just put a part 2 on it or something. So let's stop the streaming.